The emails and the Facebook posts throughout the year talking about what our wing does. But of all the things that I get to do during my time as wing commander, this is really the most fun, because I get to talk about everything that we've done in a year and really come up here and celebrate success. So this is, like I said, this is the best time I have in the year. So what I want to do at first, though, I want to give you a little bit of insight as to the size and the scope of our wing. We are the second largest wing in the nation in membership, just a few hundred members less than the Florida wing. With the 1,500 cadets that we have and the nearly 1,900 seniors we have, in those individual groups, we are bigger than over 40 different wings. We've got 8 groups in our wing, and every one of our groups, even our smallest group in Group 4, is bigger than some wings in the nation. So any one of my group commanders up here could technically be a wing commander. The thing that gives you a little bit of insight as to the amount of work that we do in the California wing is what we talk about our financial transactions. Our financial transactions is how we repay our members financially after they've gone out on missions, the things that we do at the squadron level. We did 10,000 transactions last year. Those were done by our senior wing administrator, Terry Singleton, and our wing administrator, Stacy Myers. The nearest wing to that was Florida, which did 7,000. So that gives you an idea of the scope of everybody's hard work here. The E-108 process, we are one of the first large wing and one of the first wings to fully adopt the E-108 process. And I'm pleased to say that it is a very successful program. I think everybody here who is working as a pilot or a ground team gets reimbursed rather quickly. The WMRS 2.0 issues notwithstanding, I think everybody here has fully embraced that program, and I really, truly appreciate everything that you've done to make that program a success. Our membership, as General Vasquez pointed out, has gone up and down over the last several years. It's interesting when you look at this number that our membership in cadets were actually up last year, but for some reason, we had an 11.5% decrease in membership in our cadets. And we'll talk a little bit about where we think that problem is, but we really don't know why we've seen that drop off. We've seen it in the newer cadets, but we really don't know the reason. So what I've done this year, coming up this year, is I've asked former California Wing Commander Ernie Pearson, former Region Commander as well, to help me with this process. And he is going to start doing some analysis on these numbers and then start working with our Cadet Advisory Council to come up with some ideas as to why this is occurring and what we can do to turn it around. Our professional development for our senior members has been a bit challenged in the wing this year as we lost our professional development officer about halfway through the year. Our numbers are still looking good, but they could be better. And I'm pleased to say that we will be appointing a new professional development officer right after the conference. And he will begin to start more formalizing and getting us back to where we need to be to get our professional development back in line, especially in light of the changes in regulation as it applied to our levels and our promotions. Now, it's said that all of us are safety officers, right? So if we're all safety officers, then we all work for Lieutenant Colonel Mike Watkins, our wing director of safety. Now, General Vasquez hinted a moment ago that our numbers, well, he didn't hint, he came right out and said our numbers were very good. I am very proud of these numbers here. If you'll notice, we had a 65% decrease in aircraft incidents. That's huge. Now, the majority of the 10 incidents that we did have were tire related. And so we had no serious mishaps with any aircraft this year. So, and a couple of those others were mechanicals, issues with alternators and such. So I'm very proud of that number. We had no hangar rash incidents. Nobody drove any aircraft into fences or into trees or had any bad landings. So again, all you pilots, thank you for that. The injury reduction is another huge number that I'm very, very proud of. And the other one there is the cadets. In 2012, at the first encampment after I took over the wing, we had 12 mishaps at our encampment in a 1 week period of time. This year, we had 1. And I think that is a testament to the hard work and training that Mike has put into our training officers and the leadership, both cadet and senior, that we had at our encampment. So that is a great number. So I place a lot of this with Mike, and Mike came to me last year, about this time last year, and said he wanted to retire. I begged him to stay on through May when we had our staff assisted visit, which we did very well on. And after that was over, he kind of said, well, and I said, well, no, can you stay on until after conference? So he agreed to stay on after conference. So I knew that I couldn't go back to the well a third time. So I'm pleased to announce that our new director of safety will be Lieutenant Colonel Greg Chase. Will be taking on shortly after after the conference. But at this point, I'd like to ask Mike to please come forward. Come on up here. Come over here. As I said before, the success that we have had with our safety program and the safety of our members would not have been possible without the hard work of Mike. Mike is on my speed dial. I'm sure I am on his. And I talk to Mike at least once a week on various issues, whether we've had mishaps or not. If anybody were to go on to our SMS right now, the only thing you'd see is one mishap that's there, and that was just from yesterday. So, he's done a great job of clearing up our issues and making sure that all of his safety officers are trained. So, Mike, on behalf of the wing, I'd like to present you with a Meritorious Service Award. Thank you so much. Thank you. Despite the fact that we've had a reduction in membership, our cadet program continues to be one of the most vital programs in the nation. The numbers that you see here kind of break down our cadet population as it was about a week and a half ago. And as you'll see that we have about 40% of our members our cadet members have been with us a year or less. That is the area that we need to concentrate on the most because we are having some issues with retention, also with recruiting. So what you see here though is as we get to years 3 through 5, our cadets are staying longer in the program and they're continuing to work the program. So that's where the strength of our program currently lies. Now, when I took over the wing 3 years ago, I noticed that we had a very low number of cadet officers. I believe it was less than 8%. And that was one of our goals that we set, is to bring up the number of cadet NCOs and cadet officers because our program truly is a leadership development program. And you'll notice that we've not only met, but we've exceeded both the 25% in our NCOs and over 11% in cadet officers, and it's still growing. That is the backbone of this program. Our encampment this year was a very successful encampment, again at Camp Slow. Camp San Luis Obispo, our encampment commander was Lieutenant Colonel Peggy Myrick, and our cadet commander was Cadet Major Everett Montalvo. And it was a little bit of an unusual encampment this year because it was a midweek encampment. We didn't start on a weekend and end on a weekend. And it also, the encampment week encompassed the 4th of July holiday. But despite that, we had over 206 basic cadets, which now we are referring to as students, and over 50 staff or cadre, as well as senior staff. I need you all to mark your calendars for the next encampment, which is the 1st through the 8th of July, again at Camp San Luis Obispo. And Colonel Myrick is already deep into the planning for that for next year. She'll be returning as our encampment commander. Our encampment O-rides, again, were one of the high points of our encampment. We flew 194 cadets. And that is a big thank you to Colonel Nelson and then now General Myrick, who really all but take over the San Luis Obispo Airport. As you can see, we had 17 of our 29 aircraft out there for encampment. We had over 34 pilots that came out, and 10 other people came out to support our pilots. So and like I said, we flew 194 cadets. Every cadet who wanted to fly did fly. Our activities that we continue to do within the cadet program continue to just amaze me sometimes. 336 cadets attended our CPC, or our Cadet Programs Conference, in February. 88 cadets and 30 seniors applied for National Cadet Special Activities, and 54 cadets and 5 seniors were slotted. Again, I think it's a testament to the size and volume of our state, but the BCSs, the ATSs, and the NCOSs is where our cadets are getting the training they need, and that's the reason why the strength is in those categories of 3 to 5 years. And also 23 cadet squadrons participated in wreaths across America. As General Vasquez pointed out, Cyber Patriot continues to be an outstanding program for our cadets, and I'm very pleased to say that the very first middle school division, that was a new division that was added this year, the national champions came from the California wing from Beach City's Cadet Squadron 107, and our California wing and our Pacific region color guard from Squadron 47 down at Oceanside. Also, they had the honor of presenting the colors at the national conference in Las Vegas. Also in Las Vegas, Kurt LaFont, has he arrived? Came to me and he said, "So how is the Spots Factory in California doing?" And I said, "It was live and well." In the last 2 years, we have given out 10 Spots Awards in California. We did 5 in 2013, and we repeated that number again in this last year. This is a testament not only to our cadets and the hard work that they put in, but also to their senior leadership, and so bringing them along and developing them and giving them that gentle nudge to continue through with their spots. Cadet Colonel Joshua Fluellen received his Spots Award at the CPC banquet in February, and Cadet Colonel Anthony Cummins received his Spots Award at the encampment graduation. And tonight at the banquet, we will be presenting Cadet Colonels Bryce Kuykendall, Trenton Bromenschekel, and Sarah Gamble their Spots tonight with the help of General Vasquez and General Myrick. Emergency services. Our numbers are off, but that's not because of anything that we're doing. Since 2009, when they turned off the 121.5 ELT satellites, our missions began to drop off, and they've continued to drop off when it comes to SAR, search and rescue and disaster relief missions. We have no control over that, so the numbers speak for themselves. But what I want to point out here is that in spite of the fact that we had a reduction in those missions, I want you to look at some of those green numbers. We had a 29% increase in A mission hours. Why was that? We had a full year this year of counter-drug flying. We had a ton of money that was given to us by national headquarters for O-rides and also for proficiency flying at the end of the year. You'll notice over on the side there for counter-drug, we were up 106%. The reason for that was, again, this year we flew counter-drug missions the entire year right after the government shutdown issues were resolved. The funded proficiency flying was new to us this year, and so we flew 386 hours of funded flying, number 2 in the nation for our funded proficiency flying, just behind Texas. Going back to the counter-drug hours, at 1,130, we flew more counter-drug hours than any other wing in the nation. Also, O-rides. We flew more O-rides than any other wing in the nation with 890 hours, more than we did last year. Those numbers are propping up those overall numbers there. You'll notice that at the bottom where it says average aircraft hours at 203.7, that's a number that I'm very proud of. We pushed very hard for that, and it shows that we are flying the aircraft in our fleet. We missed our number last year by about 3 hours on average, but we made it this year. So thank you to all of you, but also thank you, General Vasquez, for the funding for O-rides and for counter-drug and the proficiency flying. Our training continues to be aggressive. Unfortunately, because of the government shutdown at this time last year, our training was a little off until we were able to get our budget issues resolved, but we made up for lost time, and we had 40 search and rescue or disaster relief exercises done in every one of our groups, 2 mountain flying clinics, 3 mission pilot and air crew schools, and again, the 378 hours of funded proficiency flying. We increased the number of our general emergency services qualified personnel by 20% because our cadets now are going out and they're getting their GES cards. That is crucial for us in the event that we have a natural disaster and we need these young men and women to come out and assist us. So our numbers jumped dramatically there. The funded proficiency flying helped us to improve our SAR-DR pilots, and we're still seeing the residual effect with that by bringing back some of our pilots who had lost their proficiency. Those proficiency dollars, were able to bring them back in the fold so we can get them their Form 5s and get them back. Our observers, ground team members, ground team leaders, and communicators all increased by 15% or more this last year. And you'll see the number of vehicles and aircraft that we have that National Headquarters has given us the funding for and that our logistics officers are helping us to maintain. At the conference last year, I had a meeting on Friday night with all of the group commanders and our operations team, and I told them that we were refocusing our training away from SAR-DR and focusing it more towards airborne photography. At that time, just about this time last year, we had no qualified airborne photographers. And thanks to the hard work of Lieutenant Colonel Alan Ferguson and Captain Mike Sullivan, Mike, you here? They put on 9 airborne photography training exercises, and as of today, 1 year later, we've got 38 qualified photographers and 33 more that are still in trainee status. We are going to continue this push towards airborne photography because this is our new mission. Now, as a result of the hard work of our Director of Legislative Affairs, Lieutenant Colonel Carl Morrison, this was his idea. He approached the California State Water Resources Board and said, we've got the ability with our airborne photographers to help with drought relief. And they loved the idea. And we are currently in hopefully the final negotiation stages of a amendment to our MOU with Cal Office of Emergency Services, and we should start flying those missions sometime in the first quarter of this year. So Carl, thank you. California has also led the way in new technology in airborne photography. Captain Sullivan and Colonel Ferguson helped us to bring this new camera to light, which is a strut-mounted camera. We've tested it we've taken it back to national headquarters and demonstrated it there, not only for national headquarters operations folks, but also our partners at FEMA, and they love the new wireless cameras. We were able to test it in an operational setting shortly before or shortly after the Napa quake, and it proved that effective, but we still got some work that needs to be done on it, utilizing not only the camera on the strut, but a iPad or a tablet inside the aircraft. We've currently got, I think we've got 3 of these cameras, and we've got more that we're going to be coming in. The configurations that we're looking for these is either 2 or as many 3 cameras on one aircraft. And this kind of gives you an idea of some of the photography that we were able to get out of it, similar to what you see in Google Earth. This is the new format that FEMA is looking for us to do for them in the event that we have major disasters. Almost a complete 90 degrees straight down. As I said before, our emergency services department works very, very hard, and this year our from the Pacific region, we were awarded the Disaster Relief, Homeland Security, and Counter Drug Awards. So at this point, I'd like to ask Mitch Richmond to please come up and accept those awards. You can take them. Just turn on. I'm going to take these back. Don't go anywhere. Now, Colonel Richmond has been on the California Wing staff in one form or another for about 15 years. He was a squadron commander, a group commander, the deputy director of operations, and then for the last 5 years has been our DO. During that period of time, he has helped to modernize our aircraft fleet, get our pilots trained from the old round dial aircraft to our G1000 format, and most importantly has been very instrumental in improving our relationship with our partners at the California Office of Emergency Services. Recently, I got a phone call a while back from Colonel Bishop, who said that he wanted to steal Mitch away, and although I was a bit reluctant, I agreed, because, well, he'll still be staying within the family, so...
What was the yippee I heard?
No. That was Alan that did that. So, on behalf of the wing, that I would like to present you with an Exceptional Service Award for your service over the last several years. Don't go away just yet. And again, on behalf of the wing, I'd like to present you with a representation of one of our aircraft in the wing, along with all of our 8 group patches at the bottom.
Excellent.
Thank you. Our aerospace education program continues to be one of the strongest in the state. In the last couple of years, we were actually recognized as having the best program in the nation. After the air shows, though, continue to be one of the areas that we utilize for our external program. Unfortunately, the air shows kind of dropped off this year because of funding with the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. So once we got that funding back, we made up for lost time. We hosted our second National Cadet Special Activities here in the state of California with our remote control aircraft program, and brought in 101 new Jaeger awards in this last year alone. And the California Wing was awarded the Pacific Region AE Award for the fourth year in a row, and also placed 3rd for the National Mission Award. So I'd like to ask Major Tom Scott to please come up and accept those awards. I'm very, very happy and pleased that after 4 years of hard work, that we were finally able to see the day when President Obama signed his name to the gold medal bill. The California wing was very involved in this. Of our 55 congressional representatives, 52 of them co-sponsored the legislation, either in the House or in the Senate, and I'm just thrilled at the fact that we will soon be presenting our World War II era veterans with the gold medal. California has more gold medal recipients than any other wing in the nation, with 27, and we just added our 27th with Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Truesdell. Just a few weeks ago, we promoted her to the grade of Lieutenant Colonel. Jerry was a member of CAP in 1942 in Chicago and she was there and worked with us in Civil Air Patrol for a period of time before she then joined the Navy and helped train naval pilots. And Jerry, we took her first flight at the age of 100, took her first flight in a CAP airplane for the first time in 70 years. And our pilot is right over here, so Jenny Lynn Burnett actually took her up and flew her. And although she's 100 years old, she is a Spitfire, and she has made it very clear to us that as soon as the date is set for the presentation in Washington, D.C., she's going to be there. Our legislative involvement has continued to grow over the last year under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Carl Morrison at the national level and Captain Mark Kempton at the state level. We are kind of attacking the issues that we need to deal with legislatively from both sides. In the last year, we've resurrected our state legislative squadron with Lieutenant Colonel Marty Block down there, a state senator from the state from California, and also Mark Levine, also who's receiving a flight suit in Sacramento. You know, it's very difficult for all of us to go back to our families and to our friends and to our employers and try to explain to them what we do here. Because unless they are in this organization, they just don't get it. So it's up to us to make them understand why it is we do what we do. Our country is in dire need of leaders. It's been that way for a while. But we have one of the strongest leadership development programs in the nation. And that is a testament by the 17 names that are on the board here. California Wing led the nation in the number of military academy appointments. And these young men and women are going to go and give the government a minimum of 8 years of their life after they graduate from one of these academies. They'll either stay in the military and continue their leadership careers there, or they'll leave and they'll go into the private sector or into public service. This is the future of our nation. This is the future of the leadership, not only in California, but the rest of the country. And I am very proud of every one of the 17 people on that list. General Vasquez pointed out our STEM program and the emphasis that we're placing on STEM. There was a study done several years ago, and the United States ranked 58th of industrialized nations in our emphasis on science and technology and education and math. In our country, we have the best universities in the world, but the majority of the people that are attending our universities are coming from outside the country. That's why this is so important in doing the things that we're doing and training our own young people to take over and take on the challenges with these technologies. One of our members, Lieutenant Colonel John D. Giantommaso, took it upon himself to develop a STEM academy. No one told him to do it. No one asked him to do it. He took it upon himself. And it took him several months to do it, and then he all of a sudden came to my office one day and he handed me a manual that was about an inch thick, which was the entire curriculum. He has trained over 100 cadets in STEM, and that program now is the foundation of the framework for the new National Cadet Special Activities for STEM. So unfortunately, John couldn't be here, but we're very proud of the work that John has done. That's the reason why we do what we do. This is just from a few weeks ago. There was a pilot left from the San Jose area flying out to Death Valley. While he's flying over the southern Sierra Nevadas, he experienced a catastrophic failure in his aircraft. And 45 seconds after the propeller on his aircraft disintegrated, he crashed. The ELT did not immediately activate. Thankfully, the pilot survived the impact, and it took him several hours to reach over and manually turn on the ELT. But that's where the story begins. The way the process works with the old ELTs, because these aren't being monitored by satellites anymore, somebody has to hear it and then report it. And then it goes through the chain, all the way to the Air Force at Tyndall Air Force Base, at the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center, and then they'll contact us. It took a few hours for that process to go through, but within 3 hours of getting the notification that there was an ELT, our pilots were at their aircraft, they were in the air, they were over the crash site, and had found the location within 3 hours. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of the night. It was about 2 in the morning when they finally got over the crash site, so they couldn't see it. So they noted the location where they believed it was, they flew home, and then the base staff worked all night to ensure that the aircraft that launched the next morning was able to find it. The hard work that crew did in the middle of the night was so good that the air crew the following morning was able to find that aircraft on the first pass. And as they're flying over the wreckage, they were able to look down, and what did they see? They saw the pilot standing on the wing waving at them. And that pilot today is with his family. He is with his grandchildren because of the hard work of the people that were on that mission. If there's any one reason why we do what we do, that's it. And tonight, you're going to have the honor and the privilege of meeting that man. Him and his entire family are going to be at our banquet and help us present the life-saving awards to the people who were on that mission. So I just want to again say thank you for everything it is you do. I am proud every day when I do what I do to help support you and to support our organization. And I'll end with the same way I did last year, is that I am proud every day to tell anyone who will listen that I'm a member of the California Wing. Thanks.